Imagine this. You walk into a supermarket, buy a few things, and then the cashier hands you a plastic bag. Seems pretty normal, right? But have you actually wondered where did this plastic bag comes from, how it's made, and the processes behind it, and then where it will end up after being thrown away? Lucky for you, our topic for today is the chemistry, industrial process, and the environmental impact of something we use almost every day, which is plastic bag. Hi everyone and welcome to our podcast. Today's topic is from raw materials to finished product, the role of industrial chemistry in everyday life. We'll be discussing about plastic and polymers with a special focus on plastic bags. Even though plastic bags seem simple, there's actually a lot of chemistry and industrial processes behind them. So before we begin, let's introduce our panel members, starting with you.
So, hi everyone, I'm Osman. Today I'll be talking about why plastic bags are so commonly used in our daily life.
And hello everyone, I'm Deva, and I will explain the raw materials used to make plastic bags.
Hi everyone, I'm Pavitra. I talk about the chemical process which involves in producing plastic bags.
Hi everyone, I'm Ain. I will be sharing about the environmental impact of the plastic bag.
Alright, so Osman, let's start with a very simple question. Why do you think plastic bags are so popular all over the world?
Honestly, I think the main reason is convenient. So, plastic bags are lightweight, strong, waterproof, and also very cheap to produce. That's why almost every shop or supermarket uses them, whether it's for groceries, takeaway food, or shopping. Plastic bags are just very practical.
That's true. Most of us probably use them without even thinking about it. According to the United Nations Environment Programme, about 5 trillion plastic bags are used worldwide every year.
Wow, 5 trillion, that actually unbelievable.
I know, right? If you break it down, that's mean about 1 million plastic bags are used every minute globally.
That's crazy. Which means by the time we finish recording this podcast, probably millions more plastic bags have already been used.
Yeah.
Whew. Alright, so before we continue, let's try a quick quiz moment. Okay?
Okay.
So here's a question. What is the main polymer used to produce most of the plastic bags in the world? A. Polypropylene, B. Polyethylene, or C. Polystyrene? Take a guess.
I guess polypropylene.
Okay.
I think the answer would be polyethylene.
Yeah, I agree with Pavitra. I also thinking that polyethylene too.
I also think that polyethylene.
Alright, let's see the correct answer, which is polyethylene. It is widely used because it is flexible, lightweight, durable, and resistant to moisture. That's why it's perfect for making plastic bags. Alright, so let's move on to the next section. Deva, where does polyethylene actually comes from?
Um, basically, polyethylene is produced from a molecule called ethylene. So, ethylene is derived from petroleum or natural gas through petrochemical process. So, basically, plastic bags are actually start from fossil fuels like crude oil or natural gas.
That's interesting. I don't think many people actually realize that plastic bag actually starts from oil or natural gas.
Yeah, that's true. There are also two common types of polyethylene used in plastic bags, which is the first is HDPE, which is used for thin supermarket plastic bags, and the second is LDPE, which is used for thicker and softer plastic bags.
Alright, thank you for your insight. So now, Pavitra, how do we turn ethylene into polyethylene?
Okay, so the main process is called polymerization. This is many small molecules called monomers joined together to form a long chain called polymers. In this case, monomer is called ethylene. Ethylene, and when many ethylene molecules combine together, they form a chain as a polyethylene.
So it's like connecting many small pieces to form very long chain, is it?
Exactly, that's correct. After that, the polymer is produced. It is melted to process through machines using a method called film blowing. So in this process, they create thin plastic sheets which are later cut into shield to form a plastic bags.
Alright, thank you for that insight. Now let's talk about the environmental side of things, shall we? So, Ain, what are the main concerns about plastic bags?
One of biggest issue is that plastic bags are non-biodegradable and they take hundreds of years, sometimes up to 1,000 years to decompose the environment in the environment.
Oh, wow. That's mean plastic bag that we use today might we still exist until our children are still around.
That's true.
Grandchildren around.
Yes, exactly. Another problem is many plastic bags are not recycled. Instead, they end up landfills, river, and ocean. Every year, around 8 million tons of plastic waste are found in ocean.
Ocean, into the ocean.
Alright, thank you for your insight. So, before we wrap up, let's try a quick myth or fact moment. So, here's the statement. Plastic bags are the biggest source of plastic pollution in ocean. Is it a myth or is it a fact? Take a guess.
I say fact because we see them everywhere.
Actually, that's a myth.
Well, that Ayn is right. It is a myth. This is because plastic bags do contribute to pollution. However, the largest source of ocean plastic actually comes from fishing equipment, plastic bottles, and other packaging waste that we throw around.
But plastic bags are still dangerous because they are very light and easily blow into river and oceans too, right?
That is true.
And also, since they take so long to decompose, they can still harm the wildlife and ecosystems.
Alright, thank you for all your insights and answers. So, before we end today's podcast, let's quickly summarize what we have discussed today. Starting with you, Osman.
So plastic bags are widely used because they are cheap, lightweight, and convenient.
And also, they are made from polyethylene, which comes from natural gas or petroleum.
So for me, their production involves polymerization, where the ethylene molecules combine to form long polymer chains.
However, plastic bags also create environmental problems, especially pollution to and harm to wildlife.
Alright, thank you for the quick summarization of the subject. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We really hope this conversation helped you see that something as simple as a plastic bag actually involves a lot of chemistry, industrial production, and environmental responsibility. And thank you all to our panelists for the discussion, and thank you to everyone for listening. Remember, even small choices like bringing your own reusable bag can make a difference. Say no to this, and say yes to this. Thank you everyone for listening. See ya later.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
everyone.